हरि करना।
So let's get into the action. So counting rules, also known as counting principles, are mathematical formulas or techniques. Counting rules or counting principles are nothing but mathematical formulas or techniques used to determine the number of possible outcomes in a given situation. What's that? What does a counting rule means? Counting rule or a counting principle is nothing but a mathematical formula or a technique used to determine the number of possible outcomes in a given situation. So some of the common counting rules that widely used are multiplication principle. The first one is multiplication principle. So this principle states that if there are m ways to do one thing and n ways to do other thing, then there are m times n ways to do both things together. That's it. This is called a multiplication principle. If there are m ways to do one thing, and if you have n ways to do another thing, then there are m times n ways to do both things. And then second one, we have addition principle. So this principle states that if there are m ways to do one thing and n ways to do another thing, and these two things cannot happen at the same time, then there are m plus n ways to do one of the things. I think you should connect this with the probability. Okay, addition law of probability and multiplication rules for probability, because fundamentally they came from here. Okay, so that's what the addition principle, that's m plus n ways to do one of the things based on what you require. So if you uh, this principle states that m plus 1, addition principle states that if there are m ways to do one thing and n ways to do another thing, and these two things cannot happen at the same time, then there are m plus n ways to do one of the thing. Note that point, one of the thing. Addition principle gives you the output. If you want to see how many times these things can be done, how many times you can do one of these things, that will answer your that question will be answered by the addition principle. But when you want to know how many ways you can do both things, then it's multiplication principle. Okay, next, permutation rule. This rule is used to count the number of arrangements of a set of objects. So if there are n objects and r of them are arranged in a particular order, then the number of permutations is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. If you have n objects and r of them are selected without regard of the order, then it's called combination. But if it is with order, if it is a clear cut order you have to maintain, then it's called a permutation rule. Those are called permutations. Whenever you do with proper order, it's a permutation. No order, that's something else. That's what we'll see later. Okay, so permutation rule is used to count the number of or arrangements of a set of objects. If there are objects and r of them are arranged in a particular order, then the number of permutations is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. Then we have a combination rule. So this rule is used to count the number of combinations of a set of objects. If there are n objects and r of them are selected without regard to order, then the number of combinations is n factorial divided by r factorial multiplied by the n minus r factorial. When there is no order, then you have to multiply r factorial also. If it is a specific order, then n factorial multiplied by divided by n minus r factorial, because you can't have more combinations if it is a specific order. Okay, so that's what is your no, combination rule. So next we have a binomial theorem. Binomial theorem. This theorem is used to expand a binomial expression raised to a power. So the formula is a plus b whole power n. So is equal to sum of k is equals to 0 to n, and it's nothing but then you'll have a summation of a plus b all power n is equals to summation of k is equals to 0 to n, and then n choose k, a power n minus k multiplied by the b power k, where n choose k is the binomial coefficient. We'll be looking into this in later stage. You don't need to worry about it. Of course, we have seen about this when we are working on sampling and distributions course. Okay, so these rules and principles are used in various fields such as mathematics, probability, statistics, and computer science.